a solo training series from the Academy of Self-Defense, Sensei Chris Leventis. We're going to continue on with the classical technique set in the first set and learning how to pantomime for training on your own. So this next technique is the come along. The last two techniques in our 10 technique first set in our system for yellow belt, the last two are the ones we reserve, we wait for, because this is where the uke is expected to roll out of the technique. We're not doing just falls. And we wait to teach these because by that time, hopefully, this new student is better at rolling. We can't teach really a rolling technique in the beginning because they're just learning how to roll. So it would be very unrealistic to expect our students to roll out of this right away. Okay? So now, one thing I'm going to say about this is that just because the uke is rolling out of the technique, that's not what we're going to expect in the real use of this technique. This is where sometimes it gets a little foggy and there's no clarity when people watch Aikido Ka-Do technique, especially on YouTube or what have you. They're not really understanding that in reality, the uke is rolling out of it to preserve their health. This technique especially, if I don't roll out of it quickly, then my shoulder's going to go. So typically the response to a come along, or some people call this a shoulder throw, or a shoulder lock rather, is basically straight down. They're going to react to the pain of the shoulder and subsequently the elbow, and they're going to collapse down in pain. That's where the control comes from. Now, can you throw somebody from here? Absolutely. At a higher level, if you train it and you get the right energy from them, you can throw people from this and get them to do a 180 on their back. I've done that before in attack lines. It works, but that's not really 95% of the time we're taking a person down to control. Police officers use this a lot. They call it a shoulder lock. They use it to apprehend and bring down someone they want to arrest so they can get into a cuffing position. So it's called the shoulder lock. The FDLE here in Florida, if you look at the manual, it's called shoulder lock. But we call it the come along. Okay, enough of that. So I'm going to pantomime it first in different directions, and then I'll break down some of the nuances and important points of the technique. This is the same side grip, just so we have a reference. Same side grip, uke is one arm length away, my arm length, squared off position. Once again, proper classical beginning structure. So they grab me with their right arm on my left hand. So that's what it looks like in form. Now, one thing I want to tell, especially students that have this technique already and they learn the applications, there is a fundamental difference in the way we control the elbow and the arm between the classical and the application. In the classical, you see me coming in. This is the elbow, and I'm locking the forearm to my chest, and I'm bringing the elbow down to my belt. And that's the lock out of the shoulder. In the applications, imagine a low punch from the right side. I'm blocking, I'm wrapping with the blocking hand, and both hands are assisting in locking out the elbow. And I'm keeping the wrist higher than the elbow and the crook of my elbow. Okay? So I'll get more into that when we start looking at applications. We learn this from a classical perspective because it really accentuates the fact of controlling the elbow and the arm and keeping the wrist above the elbow. That's the way I see it. There's a reason for it. Okay? And then we make that jump into the applications. Okay? So, again, step by step, same side grip. The first step, again, this is the major stumbling block of students in the beginning. Remember, this is called the come along, not the go to. The only forward step I'm ever making with this is just the first step. It's not even a full step. If you look, I'm not planting my foot. Okay? I'm not doing a flat-footed plant because I want to go back the other way. And like the unbendable arm, if this is flat, I'm trying to turn, and it's not as fluid. It kind of sticks. Okay? So I'm stepping temporarily towards the attacker. I'm bringing the wrist to their belt. I tell the students, so if I'm the uke on this one, and they're stepping forward, this is happening. And that presents the tip of the elbow correctly. So visualize that when I'm doing it. If there is someone in front of me, I'm bringing their hand here. Literally, my hand is hugging the belt, bringing their hand here, which gives me the point of the elbow that they're reaching for. And this hand's reaching for the point of that elbow. That's the only time I go towards the UK. Everything else, they're coming along with me, okay? So I'm here. There's the step, ball of my foot, okay? This is at their hip, or rather at their belt, their waistline. This is grabbing the tip of the elbow. From here, I go back the other way. I'm just turning into a hanmi in that direction. This foot plants. I bring the elbow to my obi knot immediately. Okay, this is another mistake. They want to leave the elbow resting out here. Remember what I talked about leaving too much space? Now I'm bringing them out there. All they got to do is muscle in, which everyone is prone to do. Even a baby, if you try to grab something, then what do? It's mine, right? So if I bring them out here, I've lost control right away. I would have to do, in application sense, some kind of knee, some kind of strike to be able to reestablish the distance, or even just simply move in to control, okay? So again, that's application, we'll get there. But I'm here, step, back the other way, bring the elbow right to my belt. As this comes to my belt and I'm making that transition, a couple things are happening. I'm turning, again, the elbow's coming to my belt. This is locking the wrist and upper, or the forearm, into my chest. And I'm here, and I'm doing that 3/4 turn. So imagine on the arm, I have the elbow locked in tight. They're already feeling the pain and the discomfort of the technique. All it's going to take is a very small elbow blow. So this arm, the top arm, it's got the wrist locked in the crook of my elbow. All I'm doing is, this is here, right? This continues to press down. As I turn, it presses down, and this hand releases and drops to my side. And there's that elbow blow, and this is now where they have to roll to get out of it. Because if they don't roll, their arm's going to get yanked, or cranked, their shoulder's going to go. So I want to be here, and they'll roll right now. And as I do that elbow blow, I come back to resting position. This hand is parallel to the ground, chop position. This hand drops to the side of my body. Okay, so it's not here, I'm not pointing, I'm not doing any kind of ending gesture. Okay, it's just here and back. Okay, so watch from this side, then same side. And from this side, again, towards camera. Okay, and then one from here. Okay, it's just this. So it looks very simple when you're doing it, but there's so much little detail in the middle of this. Okay, the number one mistake is when I'm stepping in. Again, I'm not bringing this to the obi knot. I'm not locking this tight. Now, why does that happen, you think? It's simple. It's your partner. Those people that have tight shoulders especially, there's two variables here. There's the people like me that always have tight shoulders, that have to learn how to relax into the technique. And there's the people that I would call noodle arms. Okay, you know who you are if you're watching this. I won't mention any names. But those noodle arms, especially the kids coming into the adult class, that's super flexible. You're grabbing their arm and it feels like there's nothing there. Okay, so there you got to make some allowances and some changes a bit in that. But the normal person, the person that just regular range of flexibility, all that, this shouldn't be a problem. It's the people that normally that are tight. Okay, so what's happening is you step in. Right here, you like feel like a wall. So you have a choice to make as their partner. There's two choices to make, actually three choices. The first choice is to muscle it anyways and lock it in. What happens? You hurt them. We don't want to do that to our partners. We want to be nice to our partners because you want them to be nice to you. We want to be able to stay healthy as much as possible and come back to training again over and over. Okay? So, of course, we can raise that threshold as we get higher in rank, and we do in here for sure. But especially in the beginning, you don't want to do that. As an instructor, I always watch out for that. People doing that technique, I'm always looking at them to make sure that doesn't happen. Now, if you are someone tight like me, what I learned was if I'm the UK on this one, and they're coming in, and I know that I'm going to get locked out, okay? So the minute I feel them bringing my elbow in, right, I'll take a little step at the outside foot, and I'll give them my shoulder. And I will literally lean over as much as I can, give them my wrist, and relax my shoulder. Okay? If I do that, then I allow them to finish the technique pretty accurately, and I can do it again and again and again without having to walk out of the school like this. Okay? So that's kind of a little tip on being an uke on this one. Okay, the other big mistake people make is when they come in and they do this part fine, they bring the elbow quickly to the obi knot, they let this float out here, right? This is a two-part technique. If I don't lock the wrist out, right, in conjunction with bringing the elbow low, if I don't lock this out by bringing it in tight, then I lose the shoulder lock. I might have physical control of that part of the body, but I'm not going to get the result I'm looking for by them following the pain. Remember, this is a pain technique. There is some leverage here at the end when we're throwing, but generally it's a pain technique. It's a pain compliance technique. So now I'll show you the full throw from the uke perspective. I'll be gripping the nage with my right hand. Okay, from this side, with a little explanation, this time I'll be gripping with my left hand. They come in, remember I don't step at all on this one. I want to stay on my shizen-tai position. I allow them to bring the hand in. Now the minute I notice they pull me through, again I'm going to step. Allow them to give me my to take my shoulder. Because remember, I always get asked, do I step with this one first or with this one? Okay? A couple of schools of thought on this. The way I always see it is that because they're moving this side of the body, the chances are that's the same foot that's going to step. And it allows me to alleviate pressure quick on this side, and then it allows me to alleviate pressure even more while I step into my roll. That's the way I see it. Okay? So I'm here, I'm gripping, and finishing. Notice that I don't wait for the nage to put full pressure on my shoulder. Okay? If I do that, it's too late, then I'm going to get the brunt of the technique. So I will be kind of, not a step ahead too much, but half a step ahead so I don't get the full torque on my shoulders. Hope that helps looking at it from the uke perspective. So that was the come along, all the way through, pantomiming, important details. And we have one more left in the first set, that is the whip throw, and I will cover that next. I'm Sensei Chris Leventis from the Academy of Self-Defense in Newport Richey, Florida. Thank you.